Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
This is my final maths-related interview.
What sort of villain gets that?
It's Australia's reaction.
It's an
This is an exclusive. That's hitting the cutting room floor, bro.
Caused a lot of drama and it never got aired. It just went nuts.
What is up?
What's good? What's good? How you doing?
How are you doing, Mr. Nominee for the ACRA's
Listen, I don't even know what was going on, but I knew I was in the right place, bro.
I was getting mad FOMO. Like,
Nah,
what the
honestly,
hell?
you know, it was dope. It was so good, you know. And you know what though? Oh my God, this is the profound message that just came to me. Okay,
Tell me.
Because for some weird reason, you know what's so crazy?
What?
In my spirit, I felt like I was going there, but I knew I wasn't meant to win anything.
What?
You know why?
Why?
Because I've heard of so many stories of people that have gone to these events and have had the same feeling. People at Oscars, for example, I think Leonardo DiCaprio felt that as well too.
Really?
At first, and then later it started to just get robbed, and then anyway. But I feel like I wasn't meant to win because it kind of needed, I needed to get a glimpse of, what it would feel like. You know what I mean? Like I needed to get familiar with the space, the environment.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And just to get, my spirit aligned with what was to become, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
right.
it was just really nice, man, just to kind of, be in that, presence, like full of all these people that are in this
All
industry.
the talent.
Hey, and also congratulations to Maddie Mills. He's the one that won
Yes, go Maddie.
Yeah, man. So, it's dope, though, that actually came from, somebody from Nova. So
I
it's
know.
really good.
With the not so PG podcast.
Absolutely, man.
I just met Brooke downstairs. She's so cute.
She's cool,
She's so
man.
little.
They're cool people, man.
That's so cool.
Also, today we've got Matt Zukowski from Love Island Season 2.
Wazowski. I can't help it. I have to say
know,
it.
man. I know. And he's so cool, man. I've been trying to get him, for a little bit now. But also, and he's also
Sexy co-host
Mm-hmm.
of Where's Your Head At with Anna.
Come on now. So, yeah, man, can't wait to get him into the studio virtually. But how was your weekend?
It was good, actually. I just had a chill one.
Mm-hmm. Is
Wait,
that
what
it?
did I do on the weekend?
I know there's more.
I'm actually trying to remember. What the fuck?
I called you. And you were like at the sauna or something. I don't know what you was doing.
I had an infrared sauna session.
Okay. Have you
and
done
then
all
a
this
salt
before?
room session. Yeah, I've done a few actually.
Yeah. I've done a salt room one before, and I'm like floating in those like magnesium tanks. Bro, it is the weirdest feeling,
It's so
bro.
weird.
I slept in there for an hour. It felt like I slept for 4 hours.
I won't do one of those, but the salt room's different.
Why?
Think Himalayan salt all around the walls and on the ground, and you're breathing it in. So you're not laying. What are those called?
damn it. Doesn't that raise your
You're talking
blood
about
pressure
a
or something?
float room.
Yeah, float room. Yeah, I mean a float room.
I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
never do one of those again. They're like, oh my God, it's so relaxing, man.
It's
You just
dope.
like turn off all the lights and like you just tune out and you just float there. I was like, motherfucker, I feel like I'm going to drown. Like I could see like demons in the fucking room.
I turned on the light though. I was just got like a light on as well too.
You can, but apparently that's like, I don't know, you're meant to turn it off. The proper way to do it is to turn it
Nah,
off. And I
man,
was
I'm
like,
telling
fuck
you,
this.
those things can be actually very scary. Okay, I used to be scared of the dark growing up, so I ain't doing that shit.
Scared.
But hey, listen, leading into this episode, man, I was actually very, very excited because I was like, we got some Love Island energy. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? We've actually had a few
Jam.
from Love Island. Yeah, for
I know,
real.
right?
So, man, without further ado, let's get into it. Also, we are recording on Gadigal Land. Yeah, I hope you guys get ready for this episode and let's go.
Let's go.
Everybody help me welcome Matt Zukowski. What's up, my man?
What's up?
Hey guys, thank you for having me.
Hey,
I
man,
wish I was there in Sydney with you, but
I know.
We thought we were actually going to see you come in the studio instead because we saw that you were in Sydney a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
yeah, but you guys don't record on the day I was there. So nothing
wow.
like-
The sass, boy.
I was trying to tell you that. I've been in Sydney a fair bit recently and I kept saying, like, can you do this day? But you couldn't accommodate me.
Nah, you know what though, man? It's been busy, man. It's been busy, boy. Like, I didn't really know how busy, actually doing
Yeah.
podcasting would be, but it's been fun, man. And we
Has
see what
been
you've been
fun.
doing as well with Where's Your Head At? So, man, that's pretty big. And congratulations, too, on the 2 million listens. The tour, that was amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it was amazing. The Melbourne show was amazing, then Brisbane and then Sydney. We didn't even know what to expect really when we
That's crazy.
announced it. We were like, fuck, does anyone actually want to come see us live? But fair enough, they do.
Wow.
Was it a big turnout?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Nah, that's
Yeah.
great, man. That's great. Hey, listen, man. This seems like it was a long time ago, maybe 4 years ago now that you were on Love Island.
Yeah, probably
About 4
to the
years
day.
ago now?
Longer?
Yeah, long time ago.
Feels like
It
forever
feels
ago.
like longer. It definitely feels like.
Definitely, man. I definitely feel like that as well because, like, for me, like, we recorded like in 2020, and then not 2021. But like, I mean, like, for you, like, when people ask you about it, do you almost have to go back and go, "Damn, like, that was actually my life"? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I only realised that today because it's Josh Packham's birthday, and I was like, "Oh, that's why we." I remember his birthday while we were in there, and then I worked back, and I worked out that it was 4 years ago, and I was like, "Shit,
Wow.
I'm getting old. I'm washed up."
You ain't. You ain't watching. Listen, if you was, I don't know if we'll be getting you on the show anyway.
Exactly. I wouldn't be on it if I was washed up.
You know what? Some may call Taku and I dreamers, but I call us powerful manifestors.
Oh my God.
In the sense that, like, we met each other through our old agency, and we've always just, I don't know, like, dreamed and spoke about having some kind of collaboration together in some way, whether it was like an Instagram post, podcast, or something. And then, weirdly enough, our roads collided, and now we're here. Like, how did that whole thing come up with you and Anna? Did you guys ever talk about collaborating together, working on any types of projects with each other? Like, how did that podcast start?
I remember my ex at the time wanted to do a podcast with me, and then I sort of was like, nah. And then I think she asked Anna if she wanted to do one, and then we were like, I don't know what that happened, but then I was like, no, Anna and me have the most perfect conversations about like relationships and all that sort of stuff. And I'd be like, it'd be wasted for us not to, you know, share that with the world. So we spoke about it maybe once or twice, had a couple of meetings, drew up a game plan, and then just for like, fuck it, let's record. The rest is history.
Boy, and that's crazy though too. And you know what, man? This is just the wildest thing about just the journey because we, you know, like as we said, like we just kind of manifested it like in this like something that we've always talked about. But your story and Anna would have been very interesting because the most iconic scene I reckon in Love Island season 2 was when she's walking in as a bombshell, and then you look back at one of the boys, and then you were like, oh shit, I know her, and then all of a sudden, it was just like, oh yeah, I slid into a DM.
I genuinely did because I had a feeling she was going to be on Love Island.
How?
So I just, you know, you talk about manifesting. I knew in my gut, I had a feeling like when I was going through the auditions, I was like, I just had a feeling she was going to be on. And then I remember when we did the promo shoots in Sydney, I had come back and she uploaded a photo in her story. And it looked like the same hotel bathroom that I'd just been in. Had like the 2 toilet roll holders. And I was like, no. And I was like, no way. So then a couple of like weeks later, she posted something like right before we went on. And I gave her a flame emoji. She left me on scene. But it was more to just be like, hey, you busy? Like, you up to anything? Or you want to get dinner next week? See what she said.
Funny.
Yo, and then to go from that moment to starting a podcast, like, it's just so crazy, man. And you know, you guys were runner up, like you and the girl that you were with, and then
Cartier.
Cartier. You know, my lovely Christian lady. You know, and you know, Anna and one of the Peckham twins, and that was Josh, right?
Yeah.
Joshy.
So
we made good friends afterwards. So when we came out, we were in lockdown. Josh and Anna were, and me and my ex at the time were, and we were like literally within the 5 kilometers. So we would hang out a fair bit, go on walks, and like, you know, chat and that. So that's sort of like how we grew that friendship afterwards as well. Grew it further.
That's beautiful, man. Now take me back to just before you got onto the island, man. Were you scouted or like did you apply?
I was messaged. Actually, really funny. I was messaged by, I can't remember the producer at the time, but they messaged me on Instagram, but my ex had just broken up with me 10 days before. So I was fucking shattered, like bawling my eyes out every day. And I remember sitting in my car and I saw the message and I was like, wow, it's funny how life works, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, I'm single now and I just like entertained it, went through like the casting process. I knew that I was going to get on. Like, I had a feeling I was going to get on. I was like, yeah, you talk about manifesting. Like, you know, I felt it. Like, I knew that I was going to get on. But I remember, like, I was at the same time, I really wanted my ex back. But this obviously was the right way to go.
Wow. How crazy. And what a journey it's been for you, hey?
Yes.
And especially like just going, you know what, fuck it. I just got on a relationship. Let me just go on the show instead. You get me?
It wasn't as quick as that. You know how the thing goes. It was like months worth. So that was like
Yeah.
When did the Avengers come out? Whatever month that was, because it was like that. It was around that date.
That was just before. That was just after the one before Endgame.
yeah. It was literally that one. Yeah, and then we broke up, and then however long, and we shot in September. So it was like fair few months later.
But you know what? I think people don't really quite understand. Like, it is a process, man. Getting all the shows, and it's like, especially with going on Love Island, like. Boy, I actually forgot that I had auditioned at one point. I was like, I don't even think I ever made it. Just went over my life. And then I got the call up. I was like, okay, goddamn, we're really doing this. You know?
I remember like being like, I need to know. Like, because I was at uni at the time and I had a job. And I was like, I need to tell people that I'm going on. And you remember how they just all would fluff you over? They'd be like, yeah, we're getting there. Like, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, it's like 3 weeks away now. And, and you guys haven't told me anything. And then they they eventually tell you.
And just got to plan your life too, man. That's something that I just really didn't understand. And I was like, I don't understand how these guys actually work, because we've got lives and we actually have to fucking put in a little bit of time off from work if we are going away. And you never really know, right?
Yeah, I was working full-time in a hair salon and I was doing weddings on the weekend. So like I had no time but to go straight back and get back into normal life. What was that like for you, Matt? Did you go straight back into work or what happened post-show?
Well, ours was a little bit different, I think, to both of yours, because yours were both, or was yours, Taku, pre-recorded?
No, it was about 2 days before the live.
Okay, yeah, so ours was the same as that. So, like, when you came off, ours was, like, 12 hours or whatever it was, like 24 hours. So, like, I came off and was, like, straight into it. But I didn't realise, because I was on there from the start, so, like, I didn't realise that people were, like, watching it and actually invested in it. So when we landed back in Melbourne from Fiji, the time I actually noticed that people were invested in it and watching the show was we were walking through the airport, like coming through, I guess, like customs and duty free and that. And there was a bunch of like, you know, the Australian Federal Police and how they stand there. And I literally watched them like talk to each other and like, oh, that's Anna and Matt, like from Love Island, blah, blah. And they all started like talking about us. And I was like, well, that's fucking weird, isn't it? I was like, well, that's not normal. And then came through and everyone was like taking photos of us, like stopping in the cars. I was like trying to get to my car and like pulling over.
Famous.
Yeah, and I was just like, what the fuck? Because I'd obviously been in there from start to finish, so I didn't understand what, like that the outside world was watching it when I was on there.
It's so funny that you say that, because that happened to me too. As soon as like I was going back home after the finale, like even the guys that were working like on the aircraft as well, I stick out like a sore thumb, bro. It wasn't really that many black people at the airport. I'm telling you that right now. And one of the guys was like, Taku, and I was like, I looked back and I didn't think it was me. And then he's like, we loved you, boy. And I was like, what the fuck? And I go on, and the air hostess recognized me. She's like, so did you find love? I was like, lady, hold up. This is weird. So like, it's a bit of like a reality check, right? Because you were like locked in this thing for so long. And then you come out and you're like, it's almost like you just went in like a hot tub time machine. You get me? And then you get out and you're like, holy shit. But what was your back to reality moment though? So like you come from the show and you are back into, you know, I guess like reality. What was that like?
I was lucky enough that mine would be lockdown. So like I was like going, you know, to the events, getting invited to places, doing all the partying, like didn't go right back to work because we finished in like the same time as you, like December. So there was like events on every weekend, going out and all that. And then come maybe, I think it was March, we went into lockdown, and that's sort of where I was like, oh, okay, you know, maybe got to get a job now, go do some work, like nothing, there's nothing to do anymore. Yeah. So that was sort of my back to reality moment when I realized, hang on. Yeah.
Man. And that's tough.
Crazy. But like, did you have any, because I know I peaked and then I dropped at a few, like I had many drops, so like I crashed. Did you have any burnout moments during that time? Or was it when COVID hit that you were like, oh my God?
Yeah, I probably had some like hungover days where I was like, nah, fuck this. I'm not doing anything again. I'm not getting out of bed.
Yeah, fuck this.
Yeah, no, nothing too obvious. I think where I was like, are you talking like just mentally, like crashed?
Yeah, mental health wise, and you know, because it's the world that we live in now. It's just crazy, like reality TV world. I mean, with media.
I remember when I got my.
pressures.
I remember when I got my phone back because I hadn't had it for like 7 weeks, and I remember like I unlocked it and turned it on, and I remember just like all the messages coming in and like everything, like all these random group chats I was in with my mates when they'd been watching me, and I remember like fully like shaking, like reading it. I was like, this is fucked. That was sort of a little bit back to reality, like that life's going on.
Yeah,
that was a bit weird. Yeah,
most definitely,
crazy.
Man.
Do you reckon you ever go on another TV show?
What one?
Exactly.
Just one that's not love related. Not love related.
I don't know. Is Matt still looking for love?
I've been asked to go on a couple of shows since. Like, I've gone through like the casting things, different separate ones.
Yep.
But just timing wise, it never worked.
Like Love Island Games or something like that. I don't know.
I got asked that one.
Yeah.
Love Island UK back at like last year.
Yes.
Didn't work out either.
But-
My mum, your dad, they wanted me on.
Oh
I
my
did a
God,
couple of
cute.
castings for that.
That's dope,
And then there was
man.
another one that had to do with that. Yeah. But it just never worked out.
Man, you know what, man? I just actually wanted to send a deep kiss my ass to Love Island Games people, bro. You know, because, you know, no, I'm serious, man. I'm getting some eyebrow raise from you because I actually got, you know, they were asking me to do it, and then I did the audition, but they was chasing me up like crazy. Initially, I didn't want to do it, and then they was chasing me up, and then I had the audition, but I was at work, and I told them I can't do the audition today because I'm at work. I won't be feeling right. And they were like, nah, we got to do it today. You got to just find a little bit of time to do it. I was like, hey, you know what? Fuck it. So we did it, and boy, I'm telling you, man, I was in the worst mood. Customers were not.
really?
Boy, it was just weird, man. I work in a cafe, right, man? So
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
had to go like in the back, and it was just an awkward audition, and I didn't think they liked me. So
Which one was this? Which round?
Boy, I
was
don't
it
even
like-
know. I think it must have been the first round, bro.
I did, mate. I did this one for that show, and they literally had me, I reckon, on there for 5 minutes. She asked me like 2 questions.
Serious?
And then, yeah, but they warned me it would be quick. And then it was like I think like the head one. I literally set myself up, took the morning off like you did, like sat down on my laptop, and then she like, asked me 2 questions. She's like, that's good. And I was like, oh.
Oh my
I
god,
was like, all right. And then she just hung up on me.
man! But like the
Wow.
cast actually looks amazing though too. So I actually can't wait to watch that. It looks
No,
unreal.
no.
They just assembled the Avengers. Wait! I heard a bit of.
No, I didn't want to do it. It's fine. I just they didn't do what they wanted to do.
So G,
No.
Funny.
now let's go. Like, so you got a podcast as well too. Where's your head at, man? And like, we're just congratulating you for the 2 million stream tour that you guys just did. And I was gonna ask, what makes you and Anna good co-hosts?
The fact that we touched on this a fair bit. We fucking argue. Like, I'm talking like we argue, like we're good friends, like brother and sister. So like what you get is real, like between us. Like literally the other day, I don't think we've actually aired this on our episode yet. We argued to the point where like we didn't record. Like we got up and we're just like, no, we're not doing this. But like that's because we're just brother and sister. Like we're best friends. Do you know what I mean? And like love each other to bits.
Yeah.
So we're not afraid to tell each other how it is.
I love that because I'm
Do
going to
you
be
guys
honest
argue?
with you, Matt. Like, I'm a huge reality TV fan. Well, up until I did maths, and now I just see it all in like a whole different space and time. But I keep seeing your podcast pop up on my TikTok with you and Anna, and I have to admit I didn't watch your season only because I was really dirty about your Love Island season 2 because I was on another show prior to maths called The Proposal, where I was basically like the Bachelorette and I got to pick out of 7 singles, and Aaron Chhaur was one of the singles. And then it's like a round of elimination, and then you get to like the final 2, and then your top 2 basically get on their knees and they propose to you. And then you pick out of that as to like who you want to get engaged to.
Was Aaron one of them?
And Aaron was the one that I picked. So he got on his knees and everything, proposed, had like this 10K diamond ring, and it was all like glitz and glam. We had like sparklers fly everywhere. And then I think, forgive me about what channel it was on. Anyway, they sent us on a date, but because my mum also flew in, plus my best friend at the time, I didn't feel right leaving them at a hotel and going off with Aaron. So I said, look, I'd still want to get to know you. I understand you're in the Gold Coast. I'm from Adelaide, but let's see where this goes, basically. So we were chatting a little bit, and in your gut when someone's like into it and like, where there's like banter back and forth, like tennis. Anyway, the conversation just was getting more and more dry. And I actually won this award at like this hair show that was in the Gold Coast. So I'm like, hey, I'm actually going to the Gold Coast this date. I've booked my flights and everything. So I'd love to come and see you because he was banging on about this lizard island. How his family goes there a lot, and it was very exclusive for all the celebs, and he goes there all the time. I'd love to bring you like over there and meet my family. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I'll extend my work trip and stay with you for a few nights. I'm just going to bring up my receipts.
Are you guys engaged at this point?
Well,
Because he did
Technically.
propose. Technically, you're engaged. Technically, it's your
But that's the thing.
fiance.
I'll bring
Valid
up.
question, bro.
It wasn't as deep as maths, because maths you spend like 3 months together and you're like living together. You know, this was it was filmed over 8 hours in a studio, and
8 hours a day.
no, just one day.
One day, and you got a fiance.
That's why I didn't take it, to gospel like I did with maths. So I basically said to him, look, like, we'll just get to know each other, see where it goes, kind of thing, right? Anyway, the conversation started going more and more dry, and I knew I had this trip coming up with him, so I was like, I need to know what's going on. And I was like, hey, Aaron, I could be wrong, but I get the feeling that you've kind of lost interest in getting to know each other. I totally understand if you had a change of heart. Just let me know where you're at, because I did pay extra to stay in the Gold Coast to see you. There's absolutely no hard feelings. I'm so chill. Just let me know where we stand. And then he goes,
oh no.
hey, smiley face. I'm just in a weird headspace between the show and reality, that's all. I haven't had a change of heart, and I do feel like we would have heaps of fun together. Don't take anything bad from my time to respond. I'm really bad, in quotations, at looking through my phone, and I keep my notifications off
Lies.
to send to
That's
myself.
a goddamn lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Us guys, we'll tell you what's up, right?
So
We'll
then-
tell you,
what's
he's
going on.
like,
Basically, I flew up there. He went ghost. Next minute, I'm getting all these notifications of like new Islander on Love Island.
wait, how soon did he go on Love Island?
It wasn't that long after, I would say. Yeah, and that's why I was really dirty, because I was like, come on, man. Like, I just said, like, we could get to know each other. If you're not interested, that's cool. Let me know. And then he did that. After I'd
Well,
booked flights.
he's a paid actor, isn't he?
And that too.
Isn't
I
he
didn't
an
know it
actor?
until after.
Yeah.
Like the guy was just playing a role the
And
whole
I
time.
think he was lying about his age as well when he was
You
on
thought he
my
lied
show.
about his age?
Yeah, that's what we suspect.
What, he said he was older or younger?
Yeah, because I'm 35. So they match you with a group of guys that are like roughly around your age.
You don't. I would have thought you were like 25.
Thanks, Matt. But that's why I think he's a lot younger, right? You tell me. Were you guys close?
No, to be fair, I wouldn't talk to him. I found him like my first memory of him is, right, it was like, I don't know if you remember the show, but they did this whole like thing like with the bomb squad. It was fucking corny as.
Yep.
And then they're like, okay, the 3 girls that are standing there like are gonna get dumped, and then they're like, but we've got one big twist, and then this guy walks out, Aaron, with like this big smile on his face, you know, his big corny
Yes.
smile, and then he like stands there, and then the monk's like, oh, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself? And then we used to give him so much shit about this because he had this full spill. It was like a full like monologue about his life. He's an adrenaline junkie. He's been in the army, blah, blah, all this sort of
Yes, that
all
line.
this stuff.
Yeah.
And then they, you know, you remember Taku, they'd be like, all right, well, let's do that again. And
Yeah.
then like he did this is when I know someone's fake, when they say it word for word the
Bar
exact
for bar.
same way. Yeah, and I was just like, nah, don't trust this guy as far as I can
That
throw
makes
him.
me sick.
And you
Yeah.
know what's messed up, man? I haven't heard anything good come out of anybody's mouth when it comes
Same.
to this guy.
Same.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they actually like blocked him from like the Love Island pages or two because like
Yeah,
he just
what
kept
the
liking.
hell?
Like he was just
Yeah,
a
he did
pest,
too.
like in the comment section. Eh? Do you remember that? Like, did you
What?
see that?
What happened?
Yeah, so like the next season, he just kept commenting on everything. Like, I get it that like
Everything.
Islanders comment to keep themselves like on the thing and all that, but like he was taking it to like the next level. Like he was constantly commenting, liking. And did they actually block him?
They blocked his ass, bro, because he messaged. You know, I think he made like another account or something, and then it's like I had to message off this account because they blocked my main. Bro.
That's so embarrassing. Stop.
Anyway, that's just a little side.
That's your ex-fiance.
I know. That makes me sick.
He proposed to you.
No, but that's
No,
foul.
you picked it.
That's violation, bro. This guy.
I fucked up. I fucked up.
What's the other guy doing that proposed to you?
Oh, my top 2 from that show?
Yeah.
I think he moved to... I don't know where he's at now. He was
He's
in
happily
the UK.
married with 2 kids living in...
No, I don't
like
know
that.
where he's gone.
He's
He
in
slides
Toowoomba
into my
somewhere.
DMs every now and then, but it's far too...
It is what it is.
Too late now. Yeah.
Man, you see right there, this is why I love this podcast, man. You know what I mean? Like, we just get deep and like the topics just like, we just vibe, you know what I mean? And like, your podcast is exactly the same too, man. And I love it, man. You guys have got an
Yeah.
energy about you, you know what I
Wait,
mean?
I
Like
just
you and Anna.
remembered where my question was going.
Where was it going?
So because I didn't watch your season, I thought that you and Anna were a couple. When your like podcast videos would pop up on TikTok, I'm like, oh my God, these two are from Love Island. They're so cute. They made it.
Ugh.
Do you get that a lot? Like, do you ever get
Yeah, not so much now that like Anna's obviously engaged.
Yeah.
And her partner posts heaps about that. But
Yeah.
when we promoted the podcast
Yeah.
originally, we were hanging out a fair bit, and you post when you're hanging out at cafes or when you're going on
Yeah.
walks,
Yeah.
and like the audience and the followers and the public started thinking that we were together.
Yes.
And we're like, hang on, this is getting a little bit of like, people are like writing this narrative. Why are we fighting it? So like, then we started commenting on each other's stuff, like, where's your head at? Where, like, every post would be like, where's your head at? And all this sort of
That's
stuff. It
dope.
was like, just the narrative wrote itself, and we used
Yeah.
it to promote the podcast. When we
That's
first started.
unreal. That's a very smart, marketing thing. Well, maybe
Yeah.
let's start commenting on each
Should
other's
we
thing,
start
man.
holding hands?
Yeah. Then are you back
Is there
to
anything
reality?
between you guys like that or not?
Nah.
Or has it been
No,
a mystery?
no.
People have tried, man, to like ask what's happening. But you know what, though? I think that's just a lot of people aren't really used to seeing two heterosexual people, have a platonic friendship. You
Yeah.
understand? And usually, like, that just comes from them and their ability to not make, friends with the opposite sex without, having any sort of intimacy in between. You get me?
Yeah. We did a whole episode about it. We were just saying how like you can genuinely be friends, and we're giving people like tips on how we are friends and how we remain with our friendship.
Yep.
I can safely say there is no attraction between Anna and I. Like I love her, like I said, like a sister, but I
Yeah.
do not see her in that way at all.
Absolutely, man. For real.
And I just love how just raw and vulnerable you get, Matt, because it's really refreshing for a woman to hear that come out of a guy's mouth in this day and age, because everyone wants to play it cool. Even like cool girls are like, you know.
Did they do that?
Yes, everyone wants to like seem like they don't care. They're nonchalant.
That's true. That's true.
know?
But like, I think the most important thing too is like, that's the way that you actually connect with your audience better. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And there's always someone that's out there that can actually relate with your story. And what I loved about you too, man, is you sharing, your story about not being fertile.
Yeah.
That was deep, man.
Yeah, I found that out maybe a couple of months before we planned on doing the podcast, and I remember we were sitting there and we were like going over stuff we should talk about, and Anna was like, "Well, do you want to talk about that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm not ashamed of it. Like, this is the card I've been dealt for my life." And I was like, "Yeah," and then. More I thought about it, the more I was like, well, look, if I go on there, like, it's obviously going to be public knowledge now that, like, I'm
You can't
shooting
be kids.
blanks,
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. And I was like, I can't not. But I also had a thought as well that if I was to start seeing a girl, in which I have since I found that out, it's one of the first things I tell them.
Yeah.
Like my ex, before I told her on like the second date, I said, hey, like, just so you know,
Yeah.
I can't have kids. It eventually was something that played a massive factor in our relationship before our timelines and that. But I told her straight away. I told everyone that I've spoken to since. Well, now they know. But like, even on the weekend, I was just at the races, and this girl came up to me and she was like, "Hey, like, I just want to say, like, I appreciate you talking about like your infertility journey and all that sort of stuff. Me and my partner are going through IVF at the moment. He can't have kids. He did a lot of drugs growing up, and now he's infertile, and we're trying to do it." And she's like, he's listened to your episode, and it makes him feel like he's not alone. And that, that's pretty moving to hear
That's
that.
it,
Like,
man.
to definitely to hear that, I was like, I'm like,
100%.
I was like, good luck with everything. Like, I asked her like to message me and keep me in the loop with what's happening, because I was like,
That's amazing.
amazing
Because
that
there's such a stigma behind that whole thing, hey?
Well, yeah, like, and I said it on the episode, like, one of the first things that when I found out, I did say, and I said to my mum, was like, well, like, the one thing I'm fucking meant to be put on this earth to do is to, reproduce. And
That's what they tell us.
yeah, and I can't. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
can't. And it's just like, I've always wanted a son. I've always wanted to have my own son that I can, raise. And yeah, so hopefully one day there's options out there, but
Yeah, exactly. I'm going through that whole thing myself, just like based off of like biology and where I'm at in life. I did my whole egg check and fertility check and everything like that. Like, how does a guy, what did you have to do to find out? And what prompted you to go get that test anyway?
Good question.
So it's a little bit funny. My ex at the time was like, your sperm has the same consistency as a guy I used to sleep with who had a vasectomy. And then I think she was older. I think I was obviously we were dating, and I think she was like, she was like, hang on, like, why am I not falling pregnant? I don't know that. So I'm not saying that that's what she was doing, but it was obviously like, it's not happening. So she was like, do you want to get it checked out? And I was like, well, my mum did say, because I was born with undescended testicles, which means they're in your stomach. And when you're like 1 year old, they do surgery and they move them into your ball sack, or whatever the correct term is for it. So they said around my age at 25, I should do a sperm count. And my mum said that, and she's like, there's nothing, you'll be fine. We got the surgery at the right time. So I went to a doctor. I explained everything. He said, okay. Went and did like the sperm, like, you know what I mean, and cummed into a put it nice. I don't know how to nicely say that. Yeah, put it into a cup, got it tested. He called me because it was sort of like in and out of lockdown stage, and he was like, "Hey Matt, just to let you know, you've got no sperm." And I was like, "Oh, so I've got low sperm?" And he said, "No, you've got no sperm."
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, oh shit. And I was like, well, can we get a second opinion? So I did a couple more tests, then went to a specialist. The specialist actually told me, just to clear it, that there is no correlation between a vasectomy and the sperm. So that wasn't, but that was what prompted it. It's not right, but that's what prompted me to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
What,
and then
do you mind me asking? Because we're all mates here now.
Yeah.
What is the consistency like of someone that is, I don't know?
No, apparently there's no difference. There's no. That's what he told me. There is no difference of the consistency.
I don't know why you had to look at me asking that, like as if I know and I've seen my mates. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Sorry,
we've all seen each other's in the tube. And
man. I'm like my sister.
No, but the specialist told me that there's no correlation. He said there's nothing.
Okay.
She was just I think she was just like, what's going on here?
Man,
Okay,
you know what?
okay.
But, I really do appreciate that you chose to actually shine the light on that, because it's not just you, that's going through that. And once again, like, we all go through like these battles, man, that we just kind of, shut the door and just fight quietly, you know what I mean? But once again, I feel like life, man, is really, each one teach one, you know what I mean? And that's how we get through, right? So
even if one person listens to this and hears it, and then they listen to it, and then they go back and listen to me talk about it, and or they've got a brother or a partner or something like that, and I can help them. That's just, like you said, one person that I've helped. So
absolutely, man.
It's worth it.
So I listened to the live show, by the way. I think it was when you guys were in Sydney, and I love this one bit.
Should have
I wrote
come.
it down.
You guys should have come.
Yeah, man,
I know.
that would have
I'm
been amazing,
sorry. I had
right?
another event on.
Man, it would have been
another-
good.
I was
It was
going
good.
to
The
come
Sydney
with
show was
Stella
fun.
and Maddie.
Yeah, Sydney show was fun.
Because you guys had Ollie on, isn't it? And Tani, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Fuck,
dope.
they're funny. Ollie was funny as.
He's unreal,
hilarious.
bro. He's unreal. And listen, you said something so interesting about there was a show on Netflix, right? I think it's called Chose Love. Is it what it's called? Anyway, it's like an interactive Netflix show, I think it is. And there was something that was said about how there are 3 types of love that you get into in your life, right? So the first one is like your first love. And we don't know how that's like, you know what I mean? Like, like that's like the end of the world, man, when you leave him, you know what I'm saying? Butterflies and everything. And then there's
You're normally like high school, teenage years. There's not much care going on. It's just you two, and just like where are you hanging out? There's not much to argue about.
100%. Nothing else matters, bro.
Yeah, just you two.
And then there's a toxic love, you know what I mean? And as you call it, learning love. And I really like that you say that. That's beautiful right there. Because I feel like you actually get to know yourself a lot more in that second love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, do you agree, bro? Because I feel like it's only so much work that you can do alone. But I feel like a relationship, which is what I'm actually starting to learn right now, man, like, it is so confronting, bro, because that person dissects every aspect of you. Like, your personality is on the line, bro.
Yeah, literally.
No, I agree. And I hate the word toxic. That's why I call it a learning love. Like, nothing's toxic. 2 people aren't just compatible. Doesn't make them toxic. Doesn't make the other one toxic. You know what I mean? You're not compatible. You don't have the same, like, love language maybe, or the same views on something. And I say all the time, you got 2 people, a boy and a girl, for say, or a guy and a guy, a girl and a girl, but they're just, for me, heterosexual, it's like a guy and a girl. They're 2 opposites to start off with. Men and women don't think alike. You know what I mean? Straight away. We've had 2 different upbringings. We've had 2 different lives that have happened up to that point. We're not going to see stuff the same way. You know what I mean? So you've got to be able to understand each other. And I hate the word toxic because 2 people are different. Like,
Absolutely. You're right. And then there's the last love that you talked about, the forever love. I like that. The forever love.
The forever love, yeah. Do you think you've had yours?
Are you talking to Selina or me?
You can fit both of you.
So, do you think you
I
have both?
think I'm going through all of these with one person right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's hectic. That's big.
Not sure that's how it works.
Yeah, but I was like,
I mean, well, to be fair, like I didn't grow up in the most like loving household. Like my parents had an arranged marriage. They freaking like triggered each other, despised each other. So I never really grew up in a home where I knew what love was. So I think growing up as an adult, I didn't really quite recognize like healthy, you know, patterns, or like when someone was showing me love, I was like, what is going on? So now I've, you know, obviously gone through like 2 reality TV shows, tried to desperately find love. I did a lot of work with myself. And now, as I'm like literally living my best life, I quit my job back in Adelaide. I moved to Sydney and I'm just like living my best life. I was like, maybe now is a good time to go on Hinge. Like just for the lols, for once, because every other time I've gone on there to find love, and like the first person I bumped into, I'm like, holy shit, you're actually a really nice guy. So I think for the first time I'm discovering all these things with him.
And you reckon he's teaching you a bit about yourself as well?
I think we're both teaching each other a lot. Like we're mirroring each other in a lot of ways. We fucking definitely trigger each other in a lot of ways, but it's our willingness to work through those differences and adversities with each other. Because I think we both know that we both want the same thing. That's what's making us strong.
Why I call it learning love is because my ex, we obviously triggered the hell out of each other, had a lot of, you know, loved each other a lot deeply, but like we didn't see stuff eye to eye. And she would be like, you know, she'd be like, you're not like anyone else I've dated, blah, blah, blah. There's something like off, you know what I mean? And then it made me go get my test and I found out I've got ADHD. So then now, like coming into my next relationship, I know a lot more about myself. I've learned a lot more about myself. Like I'm medicating now. I know that this will make me do this and, you know, so on and so forth. So that's why I call it learning love.
Most definitely.
Yeah, wow.
Like
Wait, so are you diagnosing that I'm in learning love right now?
I don't know. Well, do you think you've had your first love? Aaron on the
Aaron, sure. Does that count?
Aaron.
Lol.
But Maddie, the reason why I was asking all this is because of you found your forever love, my boy.
I'd like to think I have.
Oh my God.
I feel like you have. I just feel like the look in your eyes, the sparkle in his eyes, and that pink flush that's happening right now on that big screen.
There's a big
look at the smile.
Come on. There's some radiant energy going on here, man.
Yeah, he's smiling.
I'm definitely. I hope, like, you know, without going into too much details, you know, when you find someone and you click with them and it's just easy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what it
Feels
is.
like breathing.
Yeah, it's just easy. You don't have to, like, you know, obviously, like I said before, we're 2 different people, but like I just feel like it's easy and there's that different feeling inside you when you're around each other. And I hate saying that someone completes you because I don't think anyone should complete you, but it makes you feel safe and peace. Yeah. And you feel just like really comfortable to be yourself. And they match like my goofy energy and they match me for who I am. So.
Absolutely, man. Sorry, and for those people that are just listening right now that don't know, Matt is dating Tammy Hembrow. Just letting everybody know because
nearly confirmed on a dime.
No. But you know, I don't know if that's the person or not. But anyway, I heard that they came to your live show. It's just a rumor as well, and maybe they were, maybe they came to your live show or not. I'm not too sure. Is that true?
You listen to the episode. You tell me what happened. If anyone else
kills me.
And if anyone else wants to listen to that episode, I'm sure they can find it.
I'm sure they can find out
where you stream your stuff.
Well, the main thing is he looks so happy.
You look good, man. Listen, and like I think
Thanks, mate.
that's exactly like what I was going to as well. It doesn't matter, but I think it's just important to be able to say that, you know, we are proud of you. You know what I'm saying? And like we see the journey, bro. You know what I mean? So, you know, like this podcast just wasn't, you know, just for us to be asking all these crazy ass questions. You know, it's also because like we love you, man. You know what I mean? Like,
Thanks,
and we love the journey. You know what I mean? And was there any advice that you give anybody that would like to get into reality TV? Well, I always love to ask that question because I think everyone's answer to that is very different.
Oh, I don't want to be negative.
He's like, don't do it.
I mean, you have to understand what it is. And I didn't going on. I didn't understand that people won't be there for the same reason. Like Aaron, for instance, aren't going to be there for the same reason that you are. Like I genuinely went there with like the idea of like everyone's here to find love.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? And then I got a rude shock when I was in there that, people aren't. So I think go in with an open mind, be yourself, be authentic, and don't recommend it.
Come on now. My girl's like, don't recommend it. Don't do it. If you can do with that, do with that.
Yeah. Well, everyone sees people come off the show and then they get like a podcast or they do all this sort of stuff. But like, there's a lot more to it than
So
all
much
this.
more.
That's so true, man. And I hate that that's like an expectation of everyone that, applies for it. We all don't end up here. You know what I mean? And like, I didn't even think that this was going to happen, bro. Like,
I know,
right?
right?
It's very, very weird. You know what I mean? Like how, like, if something's for you, man, it's for you. Like, it'll come to you regardless. I think that's something that I've only just started to accept about God and the universe. To those people that do believe in God, like, it's like, it's already been written. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your thing is to not fight it. Do you agree?
I believe, and that's more mine would be I'm more manifesting, and that like if it's meant for you, it will come to you. You will what you put out into the universe will come back to you, and what
Absolutely, man, most definitely.
So I do believe the same thing, and I always believed that like I was I remember, like I said this to Anna, like I remember being sitting at my desk as like a kid, and I had like this pen that was just a cactus and it's shaped like a microphone. I remember talking into it, just talking fucking garbage. But I was like, people are one day going to listen to what I say, and so be it. Now,
How
got a
crazy. Mine was
podcast
a
that's listened
hairbrush.
around the world.
Yours was actually.
What did you have?
Me, it was the mirror. Maddie, you don't know this, man, but when I was about 8, I developed like a stutter, speech impediment. It was horrible. From about 8 to I think I was like 13, just before I moved to Australia. So I wasn't used to people listening to me. You know what I mean? So like this was difficult as it was, you know what I mean? Like, so like amongst my own people, I felt like I was just like the black sheep amongst black sheep. You know what I mean?
That's amazing, man, that now you're literally on a podcast talking and you're like stutter free.
Yeah.
Well,
like that's
hey, come on now.
gross.
Hey, come on. Oh, please now. Please now. But it just goes to show, man, that, like it's already been written, you know what I mean? And like you just have to ride the wave, you know what I mean? It's kind of like control chaos, right? So
yeah, exactly.
So what's for you will be for you.
So
and
true.
yeah, man, I just want to say thank you so much, man, for coming through on the cast, man. I really appreciate you.
No, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely, man. And yeah, hopefully next time you're in Sydney, man, I would love to catch up.
Yeah, let's do it next time I'm there.
Sounds good,
Unless
man.
you have another event on, then I'm not
We better get a formal invite this time. I always thought once +4.
No. In our defence, like we were running pretty intense. So we wish you were there. We would have invited you.
Don't worry.
Next time,
we're gonna
hold
invite
for
you.
that,
We're gonna invite you to our Back to Reality live show. So
I can't wait.
We're
I'll be
manifesting
there.
that right there.
Yeah, do it. Seriously, guys, it's amazing. Do it.
For real. Also, say hi to Anna for me, please, and I
Yes,
hope she gets well
please.
soon.
Yes.
And
I
we'll
will.
talk soon.
All right, see you guys.
Cheers, Maddie. Bye, bye.
See you guys.
Reality.